Hey guys, what's up? This is Doctorian, and today I want to take a look at the Hunter class changes. We have some, the class changes are right now being every day until Thursday. We're getting, all classes are going to have their abilities shown, their new abilities. Keep in mind, there are a couple of things missing, a couple of things we don't have information about, is how the artifact weapon is going to play in, and we don't have all the new talents, so there could be some changes, but this is the base setup. Okay, this is the blueprint where what they're building the class upon. So let's start with the Hunter, and let's start with Beast Mastery. Now, Beastmaster Hunter always was about the pets, but now it's going to be even more about the pets. So let's start with that. So first off, let's go over the abilities we have. Cobra Shot, 30 focus, 40 yard range, it's an instant cost, a quick shot that causes moderate physical damage. So Cobra Shot no longer generates focus, but it costs focus, so basically we can use this to dump excessive focus. Dire Beast, 40 yard range, instant, it's a 10 seconds cooldown, summons a powerful wild beast to attack your target for 8 seconds. Each time the beast deals damage, you will gain 4 focus, so this is our focus generator. Also, summoning a beast reduces the remaining cooldown of Bestial Wrath by 15 seconds. So each time we use our beast, we're reducing the cooldown of Bestial Wrath. Now I don't know what the cooldown is going to be for Bestial Wrath in Legion, but right now in Warcraft Adrenaline it's 1 minute. I will talk about a little bit about this more later on, and I will use the current Bestial Wrath 1 minute cooldown for that. Kill command. 20 focus, 25 yard range from pet, instant, it's a 6 second cooldown, give the command to kill, causing your pet instantly inflicts strong damage to its target. So that's basically something we just want to use on cooldown. Now, here we get into the interesting bit, and this is where my theory crafting starts off. Wild Call, passive. Your critical strikes have a 30% chance to reset the cooldown of Dire Beast. This is very interesting. And why is this interesting? Because it stacks very well with a new passive talent that they've shown us. Way of the Cobra is a passive talent. For every pet or guardian you have active, Cobra Shot deals an additional 5% damage. And also, we have the Dire Beast thing. With Dire Beast, summoning a beast reduces the remaining cooldown of Bestial Wrath by 15 seconds. Now, here it begins. Because our critical strikes have a 30% chance to reset the cooldown of Dire Beast. Now, and for Way of the Cobra says for every pet or guardian you have active, Cobra Shot deals an additional 5% damage. Does that mean that when the Wild Call procs and our cooldown of Dire Beast is resetted, does that mean we can have up multiple Dire Beasts? So we don't replace one beast for another, but we can have up multiple Dire Beasts. That would be pretty cool. Because let's say we just use Bestial Wrath, and I'm just assuming here, and they could change it. Let's say that Bestial Wrath right now in Warcraft Adrenaline is a 1 minute cooldown. Now they could make it a 2 minute cooldown, or a 2.5, or a 3 minute in Legion, or 1.5, whatever they want to. But let's say they're sticking with Bestial Wrath with 1 minute cooldown. Now Bestial Wrath right now increases the damage of you and your pet by 20%. Pretty cool. This is a big damage buff. Could that mean that with that we can have multiple Dire Beasts? So you just use, to put this in context, you just use your Bestial Wrath, and then you get very lucky, and you're reducing the cooldown. Let's say you have 4 critical strikes in a row, and they all proc the Wild Call. That means that we can instantly have our Bestial Wrath back, because every time we use Dire Beast, we reduce the cooldown of Bestial Wrath by 15 seconds. So if that Wild Call procs 4 times in a row, yeah, we can have. If you just use your Bestial Wrath, you could be very lucky and get it back immediately again. Also, for every pet or guardian you have active, Cobra Shot deals an additional 5% damage. That means at that moment, if you're so lucky, let's say you could be so lucky, you have 4 Dire Beasts up, yeah, and your own pet is there as well, the pet you're always using. So that's 5 pets, and that's Cobra Shot deals an additional 5% damage per pet for every pet or guardian. That means a 25% damage boost on Cobra Shot. Also, since Dire Beast is our focus generator, we're getting a lot of focus in then, so we can spam that Cobra Shot away. So that could be a very interesting gameplay mechanic, which I do like. However, our Mastery, I didn't talk about it yet, but our Mastery stat increases the damage done by your pets by 45%. By 45% with Mastery from typical gear. So it's all about the pets. So Mastery seems to be the go-to stat for now, but that's just an assuming. But crit could become very important as well to get as much Dire Beast out to get Bestial Wrath back and to use that Cobra Shield. So it's I'm kind of interesting. Now I went here with the crazy theory that Wild Call would perk 4 times in a row, and yeah, for Dire Beast. So that's a crazy scenario, but it could also be that it will only proc like 2 times. But then, if Wild Call procs 2 times, your Bestial Wrath goes for 1 minute cooldown to a 30 seconds cooldown, and still you would get more focus, and you would spend that on Cobra Shot, which does more damage. So that's how the gameplay looks out to become. It's not a difficult spec. It does look fun to me though, especially with the Wild Call passive to reset the cooldown of Dire Beast. And if we can have multiple Dire Beast off, we're going to be shooting at 40-yard range with a massive army of pets. So that looks very cool to me, if you're being surrounded as a Beast Mastery, not to have a single pet, but to have multiple pets up with that Wild Call. Looks pretty cool to me. It could also be a little bit less spectacular, but overall it's a nice spec. I really do like how they want to play this, and time will tell how it's going to be. The theory crafting needs to be done, so I could be wrong here, but I like it. I like that it's all about the pets, and it looks like we're gonna use multiple pets with multiple Dire Beasts. It looks cool to me. Now, let's go over survival. Survival is no longer a range spec anymore, and it's going to be a new melee spec. So let's start off with that. Harpoon. Let's start off with the abilities. Harpoon, 5 to 40 yard range. It's instant and has a 15 seconds cooldown. Hurl a harpoon at your target and pull yourself towards them, rooting them in place for 3 seconds. Now, I think that's cool. I think Harpoon is a very nice ability that you harpoon yourself or pull yourself towards them when you need to switch to a target during a boss encounter, which is in that 40-yard range. You can instantly throw your spear and be teleported towards that. That being said, I'm kind of sad to see it's not a Death Grip. Right now, Death Knights are the only ones to Death Grip. And I think it wouldn't hurt if we had a second class who could do that. If you're missing a Death Knight in your raid, you don't have one, it would be nice to have a Survival Hunter who could fill that spot. And the Death Grip is not only in the Death Knight hands, but you also had a class that could do, a second class who could bring that ability as well. That's something I'm kind of put off by. It's like, yes, I do like how it sounds, I do like how it works. It makes target switching very fast if needed, if a target is far away. But I think if it would work as a Death Grip, it would be more beneficial to your raid. Now, Raptor Strike. 20 focus, melee range, instant, vicious slash dealing moderate physical damage. Basically, looks like our filler, our focus spender. Laceration. 35 focus. It's instant, it's on a 10-second cooldown. Tear a wound into the target, dealing heavy damage over 12 seconds. The developer comment is, we promise it will do good damage. What I'm seeing here is that it's on a 10-second cooldown, and it bleeds over 12 seconds. So why is that now 10 seconds cooldown, 10 seconds bleed? I don't get that. It's just a blade. It's nothing spectacular. It's just something we want to track and keep up. Mongoose Bite. Melee range, instant, 10-second recharge, 3 charges. A brutal attack attempting to sever the enemy limbs, dealing strong physical damage. I like how they want to make it sound so brutal. Each consecutive Mongoose Bite dealt within 3.5 seconds of the last will deal 50% increased damage, stacking up to 6 times. This is something we want to track. We want to be trying Mongoose Bite can stack up to 6 times. After, if we use Mongoose Bite within 3.5 seconds, so if you use a Mongoose Bite and you want to use it again, and you do that within 3.5 seconds, the second Mongoose Bite will deal 50% increased damage, and that sticks up to 6 times. So in theory, we can stick it up to 300 increased damage with these 6 strike. That's something we want to work on. I will talk a little bit more about that later. Flanking strike, 20 focus, melee ranged, instant 6-second cooldown. Okay. You and your pet attack the target simultaneously. Sorry, each dealing strong damage. If the target is attacking you, your pet attack will deal 50% increased damage and threat. If not, your attack will deal 50% increased damage. Okay, flanking strike. Let's put it for a raid boss encounter is just another. It's on a 6-second cooldown. Basically, we're gonna use it every time it comes off cooldown. When you're leveling and you want to level as survival, this is going to be your opener, because that means your pet is going to take the threat. So when you're leveling, killing mobs, you want to open with flanking strike, because then your pet will start dealing so much threat, it will start tanking, and that means you can fuck up the target. So this is how it's going to work. In a raid composition or the raid boss, it's just going to be on the 6-second cooldown. When leveling, I can assume people are going to open with that. Now, wing clip is just a 30% focus. It's instant. Maims the target, reducing their movement speed by 50% for 15 seconds. It's just a slow. It's nothing spectacular. Mastery though, hunting companion. Your pet attacks have a 20% with mastery from typical gear. Chance to grant you an additional charge of Mongoose Bite. So here we go. And with that mastery, we want to try to stack up that Mongoose Bite as much as we can. We want to try to get it on 6 stacks. This is basically what we're going to pay attention for the most. So we're going to keep up. We're going to use Laceration. We're going to use our Flanking Strike on cooldown. And we're going to use our Raptor Strike basically to dump excessive focus so far. This is how it looks to be working. And it's gonna surround more. It's gonna work around Mongoose Bite the most, as we're seeing right now. You want to try to get as high stacks of Mongoose Bite to try to use Mongoose Bite within that 3.5 seconds of each other. That's what you want. So it's kind of okay with me. I think it's gonna be a fast spec. There is gonna be a lot to do. You're gonna be using those buttons a lot. You always have Raptor Strike. So there's always things to do. So yeah, kind of looks cool. Now let's go over one last specific talent they've shown us. It's Snake Hunter. It's on a 1-minute cooldown. Instantly grants you 3 charges of Mongoose Bite. Again, it all is about the Mongoose Bite. So you want to try to get that 6 stacks of Mongoose Bite. That's what you're been going for, and you want to time everything around that. Making sure your lacerating strike is up, use your flanking strike on cooldown, and in between use your Raptor Strike. I don't think it's gonna be a very difficult spec. Some people were kind of disappointed. I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of looking forward towards it. The only downside I think is that a lot of people chose a hunter to be a ranged DPS, and if this becomes the main DPS spec, you're going to be a melee hunter. The question is, do you like it? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think of the survival hunter? And what do you think of the harpoon? Some people have said it's not a death grip, but I do like that you can basically teleport around or harpoon around on the battlefield on a boss fight with harpoon, throwing that harpoon, and then pulling yourself towards a secondary mob which is incoming. Makes you very mobile. I do like it. So I'm kind of looking forward towards this spec. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of it. So let's have a look at the final and last spec is Marksman. Marksman is the sniper spec, a sniper in hiding. The Marksman unleashes arrows and bullets with deadly precision. That's what the Marksman is all about, the Marksman Hunter. So let's go over to the abilities. Arcane Shot. 40 yard range, it's instant, a quick shot that causes moderate arcane damage and generates 5 focus. So arcane shot is no longer our spender, it's going to be our focus generator. Seek vulnerabilities. That's a passive. Targets hit by your arcane shot and multi-shot have a chance to be marked with Hunter's Mark for 6 seconds. Okay, so arcane shot and seek vulnerabilities are working together. You can already see that being tied in. Mark shot. 30 focus, 40 yard range. It's channeled. Rapidly fires a shot at up to 3 targets affected by Hunter's Mark, dealing strong physical damage. Usable while moving, so we have our mobility. Also exposes vulnerability in the target, snaring them by 15% and increasing aim shot damage done to the target by 25%. Lasts 10 seconds and stacks up 3 times. So basically what we want to do here, what we're seeing already is that we want to use arcane shot. We want our arcane shot to proc seek vulnerabilities. And when that procs, we want to use our mark shot, because our mark shot rapidly fires a shot at targets affected by the Hunter's Mark, and the Hunter's Mark is what we get from the passive seek vulnerabilities, which will proc off arcane shots. Also, when the marked shot exposes vulnerability into the target and making the damage of your aim shot stronger by 25%. So it increases the damage of your aim shot by 25%, and that lasts for 10 seconds, but it also stacks up 3 times. Now, aim shot. It's 50 focus, which is a lot, 40 yard range, 1.5 seconds cast, and it doesn't say that we can move while casting, so we don't know. We have to wait and see for that. A powerful aim shot that deals strong physical damage. That's pretty cool. But what we want to do right here, the way I'm reading it, is that the exposed vulnerability of mark shot increases the damage of aim shot by 25%, but that stacks up 3 times. So basically what we want to do here is shoot arcane shot, get a Hunter's Mark, use mark shot, then go back to arcane shot again until we get another Hunter's Mark, then shoot another mark shot again. On the second time, shoot arcane shot until another Hunter's Mark appears, then use mark shot again, then go back to arcane shot again until we get the third Hunter's Mark, then use mark shot again. At this time, we have 3. We used 3 mark shots, so the damage done by aim shot is now 75% stronger. So when we used mark shot for the third time, then we want to use the aim shot, because aim shot became then 75% more powerful, and then we want to spend that major 50 focus from aim shot to that 75% stronger aim shot. Then aim shot is worth it. That's how I'm reading it right now. That's how it looks to be. I do like that. Now, to be honest, this could mean several things, because the seek vulnerabilities is will mark the target with a Hunter's Mark for 6 seconds, and the other one from the exposes vulnerability from mark shot lasts for 10 seconds. That looks long enough, but the question is going to be, can we does seek vulnerabilities proc enough from arcane shot to actually get 3 stacks of mark shot? That's something we have to wait and see. And also, is it worth it to wait that long to stack it up to 75%, or just to every time we have a 25% aim shot, if we have 1 buff of the exposed vulnerability, to launch an aim shot? I leave it up to theory crafting, but it looks, in my opinion, it looks like we want to stack up. We want to use mark shot 3 times, like I just said, to get the 75% damage increase on aim shot and then release aim shot. That's how it looks out to play. But keep in mind, this could change, and I leave that up to the professional theory crafters. Now, mastery. Let's go over the mastery. What it brings: sniper training. Critical strike damage and range of all shot is increased by 12.5%. So then that means that our critical strike damage is just doing more and more damage. So let's look at some talents, what they showed us. This is one talent they're showing is lock and load. It's a passive, attach an explosive charge to aim shot, dealing strong additional fire damage to the target and all enemies within 4 yards. So that's a nice AoE/cleave damage. Your ranged and auto attacks have a 5% chance to trigger lock and load, causing your next 2 aim shots to cost no focus and be instant. So that's the moment we get rid of that 1.5 seconds cost. If we have the lock and load proc, we can actually shoot it without having to channel it. That means we can shoot it on the move as well. So maybe if we're unlucky, we have to stand still and cast for 1.5 seconds. But if we have the procs, we can just move as well. It's an interesting an interesting spec. I do like how it looks. I do like that we have some tricking. Damn, my English is bad, guys. I'm sorry, guys. It does look like we have some tracking to do. I do like that. It sounds kind of difficult, but I think it's very easy. It's just tracking. Okay, how much time I have left to on the Hunter's Mark? How much time do I have left on exposed vulnerability? And I think, to be honestly, seek vulnerabilities from Arcane Shot is gonna proc a lot. So that's my guess here. Of course, we don't know anything sure. Beta didn't start. The artifact weapon could play in that. The other talents that they're bringing in could play a role in this. So we all have to wait and see. But this is the basic blueprint of the spec. It looks very good. So basically, it means we're using those arcane shots to get those mark shots off and stack up the exposed vulnerability from mark shot up to three times, and then unleash aim shot. It looks all very good. I do like it. It's a little bit of micromanagement. Maybe it's a little bit much with a boss encounter, if a boss, especially in Mythic, when you have a lot of stuff going on and you need to track all this. But at the same time, I think this becomes second nature very fast. I don't see any problems with it. So that's my take on the Hunter. I kind of do like how the Hunter is playing out. I think all 3 specs are very different. The Beastmaster is all about the pets. The Survival Hunter is a melee spec. It looks like I'm okay with the melee spec. It looks good to me. And the Marksmanship looks like a really good really sniper kind of gameplay. Also, what I forgot to mention about marksmanship is that we don't have a beast anymore, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So yeah, all 3 very different. I do like it. Let me know in the comments down below. My biggest question to you guys is, do you like the Survival Hunter spec? That's my biggest question. Do you mind that you have one melee spec? Do you like that? Do you agree with that? Or are you one of those guys who are saying, I chose a hunter to play a ranged DPS and I don't want to be a melee? Let me know in the comments down below. And let me know what you think of all these 3 specs. I thank you very much for listening. This is Dark Torian, this guy from Drenthe, wishing you all a very nice day. If you like my content, please subscribe or give this video a thumbs up. Okay? Thanks for watching and listening, guys. Bye bye.